that this is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
That's why, of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers upon layers.
Imagine this. One of the most powerful figures in the entertainment industry, Diddy, now finds himself behind bars, facing charges that have sent shockwaves through the world of celebrity culture. The music mogul, once known for flaunting his lavish lifestyle, complete with luxury yachts, private jets, and high-profile parties, is now living a drastically different reality. But here's the latest twist in this already explosive saga. Rumors are swirling that Diddy has been attacked inside prison. And it's not just any kind of assault. This alleged incident could change everything.
Took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
Diddy's arrest in September 2024 was already making headlines for its shocking nature. He had been hit with federal charges involving years of unspeakable behavior, charges that many believed would finally bring him down after decades of alleged misconduct. But no one could have predicted what would happen once he was incarcerated. Reports have emerged that Diddy was moved out of protective custody and into the general prison population. This decision, made by the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, in Brooklyn, where Diddy is currently held, has been called a colossal mistake. It's here that things allegedly took a terrifying turn for the music mogul. Insiders are whispering that, after a conflict with a powerful group inside the prison, Diddy was reportedly assaulted. And this wasn't just a simple altercation. What's being suggested is far more disturbing. Some sources claim that this incident is being hushed up by prison authorities, who are desperate to avoid the massive fallout that would come from admitting they failed to protect one of the highest-profile prisoners in the country. The prison's reputation has already been tainted by a long history of violence, mismanagement, and unsafe conditions, so another scandal could be catastrophic for those running the facility. If these rumors are true, it would explain why Diddy's legal team is pushing so hard to get him out on bail.
They're going to try everything. They're going to try to transfer him. They're going to try to get him out. You know, in a normal case where it's a high-profile person or a well-funded person, the prosecution and the judge is a little bit more concerned about a wrongful prosecution because people that are mad that they're being arrested for a crime they didn't commit can turn around and file for malicious prosecution.
Diddy's team is reportedly furious, and they're not staying quiet about it. According to sources close to the case, his lawyers have filed an emergency motion demanding that Diddy be released on bail immediately, citing the clear and present danger he faces while incarcerated. We're talking about someone whose life is at risk. One insider close to the legal team was quoted as saying, "This should never have happened, and now we have to deal with the consequences of this catastrophic error." The motion, which is expected to be reviewed soon, could potentially free Diddy from what his team is calling a life-threatening situation. They argue that, given his status and the nature of the charges he's facing, keeping him in prison poses a greater risk than previously understood.
Special housing unit is a 24-hour lockdown unit, which means that any movement within that unit is controlled and coordinated, and no inmate moves outside of his cell without being in full restraints, to include leg irons, handcuffs, a belly chain, and at least 2, if not 3 staff members escorting them.
Let's take a moment to talk about the MDC, the place where Diddy's legal nightmare is unfolding. This is no ordinary prison. The MDC in Brooklyn has been described by many as one of the toughest federal detention centers in the country. And it's not hard to see why. This facility has a notorious reputation for violence, mistreatment, and chaos. It's a place where high-profile inmates like Diddy are supposed to be kept safe from the general population. But according to the stories coming out, that safety may be nothing more than an illusion.
It plays out in the end, but again, to go into court and say this jail is bad, move them to another jail, it's not your first argument. That's sort of...
There have been numerous reports over the years of violent incidents inside the MDC, with several inmates losing their lives during brawls or suffering fatal injuries at the hands of other prisoners. In 2020, for example, the facility made headlines when an inmate passed away following a violent confrontation, sparking widespread outrage about the conditions inside. Add to that the horrific stories of a lack of proper medical care, overcrowding, and deteriorating infrastructure, and it's no surprise that Diddy's team is fighting tooth and nail to get him out. To make matters worse, the MDC has also been criticized for its lack of adequate staffing and its failure to protect inmates from both physical and emotional harm. During the height of the pandemic, the prison was hit hard by outbreaks, and there were reports of inmates being kept in lockdown for extended periods, often with little access to basic necessities like showers or communication with the outside world. This history only deepens the concern for Diddy's well-being, especially given the volatile nature of his high-profile case.
This has to be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous and then going into this very dark, impersonal, cold, austere facility.
So, what exactly happened to Diddy inside the MDC? According to multiple sources, the details of the incident remain unclear, but rumors point to a confrontation with a group inside the prison. This group allegedly took advantage of the fact that Diddy was no longer in protective custody. Some say that Diddy had been involved in a verbal altercation that quickly escalated. Others suggest that this was a premeditated attack, possibly orchestrated by rival factions in the prison, who saw Diddy's presence as an opportunity to make a statement. One thing is certain: whatever happened inside the prison was serious enough for Diddy's legal team to go on the offensive. They argue that the prison failed to protect their client, a man now in even greater danger than before. Meanwhile, the prison remains tight-lipped, refusing to comment on the allegations of an assault or any actions taken in response. However, insiders familiar with the facility believe that the MDC is attempting to cover up their mistakes, hoping to avoid a scandal that could lead to consequences at the highest levels.
Clients describe MDC as hell, as the worst conditions they've been in.
It's not just Diddy's team speaking out. Prison insiders are beginning to leak information, claiming this disaster was inevitable. He should never have been moved into the general population, one insider stated. Everyone knew this was a risk. He's a huge target. Another source added that the prison is now scrambling to repair the damage, with some suggesting that consequences are already being dealt with behind the scenes.
There's no way they can't move in the general population. Would he be at risk? Sure, he'd be at risk. There's so many people that have nothing to lose, right? They're going to be in jail the rest of their life. They've got nothing to. They want their 15 minutes of fame. They were friends with Diddy, or they hurt Diddy, or they killed Diddy, or they did. I mean, there's so many, people in jail that this would be their moment. You can't put them there. Plus,
as Diddy's lawyers fight for his release, there's another side to the story that can't be ignored: the public reaction. Diddy's arrest has polarized fans and critics alike. On one hand, his supporters are horrified by the rumors of his assault and are calling for justice. On the other hand, many believe that Diddy's current situation is simply karma catching up with him. After all, this is a man who has been accused of some of the most heinous crimes imaginable, and for many, seeing him suffer behind bars feels like justice being served. Some of Diddy's harshest critics have gone so far as to say that he deserves what's happening to him, given the long list of allegations that have trailed him for years. Let's not forget, these aren't just minor legal troubles. The accusations against Diddy are deeply disturbing, involving abuse and violence, painting a dark picture of a man who once seemed untouchable. For years, Diddy's name was synonymous with success, wealth, and influence, but beneath the glitz and glamour, a darker side is now being revealed.
And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap.
The first major crack in Diddy's public persona came in November 2023, when his ex-girlfriend, Cassie, filed a bombshell lawsuit accusing him of years of abuse. Her lawsuit, filed just before the expiration of New York's Adult Survivors Act, detailed a decade of horrors that shocked even the most cynical observers. Cassie described a relationship in which Diddy allegedly controlled every aspect of her life, from her career to her personal freedom. And that was only the beginning. Since then, more women have come forward, each with their own harrowing stories of encounters with the music mogul. Cassie's lawsuit may have been settled quickly, but it opened the floodgates. Over the following months, a series of new allegations surfaced, each one painting an even more damning picture of Diddy's behavior. One accuser claimed Diddy violated her in the early 1990s, while another alleged he forced her into humiliating situations involving multiple people. As the accusations piled up, Diddy found himself facing lawsuits from several women, each demanding justice for the trauma they had endured. It's not just women who are speaking out. In early 2024, a former associate of Diddy's, Rodney Lil Rod Jones, came forward with his own shocking revelations. According to Jones, he witnessed Diddy's disturbing behavior firsthand. Jones, who worked closely with Diddy on his latest album, described an environment fueled by indulgence and exploitation. He claimed he was pressured to procure people for Diddy's infamous gatherings and was even forced to participate in the same disturbing acts. Jones' lawsuit provided a chilling glimpse into a world that had long been hidden from the public eye.
And I remember, like, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but, like, I felt like I was in the presence of his monster inside.
Given the weight of these allegations, many now question whether Diddy's current situation is karma for years of alleged wrongdoing. For some, the idea of Diddy suffering in prison feels like poetic justice, a fitting end for a man they believe has escaped the consequences of his actions for far too long. Critics argue that Diddy's wealth and influence shielded him from accountability, allowing him to evade justice, while his victims were left to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives. But while public opinion remains divided, one thing is certain: Diddy's legal troubles are far from over. As rumors about his time in prison continue to circulate, his legal team is working tirelessly to secure his release from the MDC. Whether they will succeed remains to be seen, but this story is far from finished. As Diddy awaits his next court appearance, the world watches closely, eager to see how this chapter in his life will unfold. Will he be granted bail and return to his life of luxury, or will the mounting allegations make his release even more difficult? One thing is certain: this case is only getting more complicated, and the truth about what happened behind those prison walls may finally come to light. While the recent lawsuits against Diddy have shocked many, they are not the first dark clouds to gather over his name. In fact, if you look into Diddy's past, you'll see that controversy has followed him throughout his career. From the start of his rise in the entertainment industry, Diddy, formerly known as Puff Daddy, seemed to attract trouble. The recent lawsuits are just the latest chapter in a long story filled with violence, manipulation, and some of the most notorious parties the industry has ever seen. As Diddy's legal battles continue to unfold, it's clear that this story is far from over. With new allegations surfacing and ongoing investigations, his once glamorous image is being scrutinized like never before. While some believe these developments are long overdue, others are still standing by the music mogul, waiting to see how the case evolves. One thing is for sure: the fallout from this scandal will have lasting effects, not just on Diddy, but on those around him and the entire entertainment industry. We'll be keeping a close eye on how things progress in the coming weeks, so make sure to stay tuned for updates. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay informed on this and other breaking celebrity news. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.